Welcome and welcome back, everybody, to the OK Grognard Show. Today is Wednesday, August 21st, 2024, 10 a.m. Central, in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. We're going to try once again to get this show started. We're trying to record it here on Twitch. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty. We're going to plow through and see if it works. DragonDays Fantasy Festival here in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. The weekend of September 27th, 28th, 29th, that's when it's happening. So it's just over a month away, and we're heralding that coming up. Hopefully this will all record. Well, it's acting like it doesn't want to record again. We will go ahead and do the show, and if we have to redo it later, then we will redo it later, I suppose. This is, maybe it just won't show up on Twitch, so my apologies. If that turns out to be the case, it'll still get recorded and archived for YouTube viewing and for later transposing it into a audio podcast. But let's talk about it anyway. DragonDays Fantasy Festival. It's Fantasy Crossroads of the World Festival, celebrating this year the 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons. Again, that's September 27th, 28th, and 29th. So just about 4 or 5 weeks away. And we're looking forward to it. There's all sorts of cool stuff going on. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at their website over here. The website will be in the show notes. All of that information is there. You get your free passes if you click on that link over there. Important notice, festival passes purchased ahead of time may be picked up at the admission booth on the northwest corner of Lake Geneva, the public library, at the intersection of West Main and Madison Street, just down the block from me. Walk-ups may also buy tickets there with cash or a smartphone. So don't bring your plastic. That's not going to help you there. I mean, you can always walk down the street and go to an ATM and get yourself actual cash if you need to do that. So don't make you shy away from the festival on that order. DragonDays is a 3-day fun-filled fantasy festival for families, fantasy fun, and gamers alike. The citywide event celebrates the city of Lake Geneva, Wisconsin as the birthplace of fantasy. And it's a bit of a stretch, but certainly fantasy gaming, because this is where D&D was originally published. So we're celebrating that this year, 50 years of that. Lake Geneva is the home of New York Times best-selling author Gary Gygax, and birthplace of the world's first role-playing game, Dungeons & Dragons. It is also the home of Gary's original game company, TSR, that produced not only D&D, but scores of popular games and hundreds of fantasy and science fiction novels. Events will be held at several venues. Oh yeah, it's happening all over town, babies. Throughout Lake Geneva, including Elm Park, locally known as the Library Park, the Geneva Theater, the Geneva Lake Museum, 330 Center Street, the birthplace of D&D, Lake Geneva Public Library, the American Legion Hall, and the Horticultural Hall. All of the great places around town that are associated with Dungeons and Dragons. Attendees and children of all ages will be able to experience our fantasy fair in the local park along with picturesque shores of Lake Geneva. Here you may explore our fantasy village, enjoy trick-or-treating in our enchanted bazaar, adventure in our hay bale, DragonDays dungeon mask, or dress up for our fantastic costume contest. There will also be face painting, circus performers, medieval musicians, demonstrations of medieval craftsmanship, archery and swordsmanship, and an enchanted bazaar with medieval crafts, clothing, jewelry, and fantasy and gaming merchandise of all kinds. The local library will be the site of fantasy and sci-fi book signings and a magical children's fairy tale story time. The Town Theater will present screenings of the D&D movies and Saturday morning D&D cartoons for kids of all ages. The historic gaming venues will have tabletop gaming of all sorts, including special introductory games that will teach anyone to play Dungeons & Dragons. And finally, the local museum will present its Wizard of Lake Geneva exhibit about Gary Gygax and D&D, as well as tours of Lake Geneva's historic D&D sites, including the birthplace of D&D, 330 Center Street. Food and drink will be available nearby at the many local ice cream shops, candy stores, cafes, coffee shops, and restaurants in the charming downtown area, all within walking distance. Opening ceremony and library events are free. Admission and all other events combined is for only $30 for the weekend, $20 for a single day. Children 12 and under are free. Again, that site will have the festival passes link. And again, all of these places, all of these wonderful places will have events going on all weekend long. If you go to the website and you click on any one of these links over here, you will find more details about each place, its significance in Lake Geneva, and to Gary Gygax, and all of the wonderful things that are going to be going on there all weekend long. Well, there you go. Let's keep this one short. I mean, we've got all the information now. We know what's going on. And since I'm not sure if I'm going to have to re-record this show, I guess we'll sign off now. We got everything there. We'll have the links in the show notes and all the rest of that stuff. I do appreciate it, and thank you so much for checking out this episode of the OK Grognard Show. You know, the OK Grognard Show streams live on Twitch each Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central. Well, maybe today. And is then archived on YouTube. That'll happen in any event. You can like and subscribe and all of that fun stuff to those channels, and leave comments if you like. It would be appreciated. Any constructive criticism is always appreciated. Thanks to our Patreon supporters. The links are provided in the show notes. Tom Tullis of Fat Dragon Games, Carlos Lysing of Castle Entertainment, Heath Farndon of the NPD 20, Dave O'Brien, Heidi and Eric Gygax Garland of Gaxland, Vince Ragusa, a.k.a. the Vince himself, Unauthorized User, and, as always, Shane Bradley, DM Extraordinaire. This has been the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Thank you, and bye-bye.